Senator Graham and Senator Cruz pose this question for the House managers. In Mr. Schiff's hypothetical, if President Obama had evidence that Mitt Romney's son was being paid $1 million per year by a corrupt Russian company and Mitt Romney had acted to benefit that company, would Obama have authority to ask that that potential corruption be investigated?
Well, first of all, the hypothetical is a bit off because it presumes that in that hypothetical that President Obama was acting corruptly, or there was evidence he was acting corruptly with respect to his son. But nonetheless, let's take your hypothetical on its terms. Would it have been impeachable if Barack Obama had tried to get Medvedev to do an investigation of Mitt Romney, whether it was justified or unjustified? The reality is, for a president to withhold military aid from an ally, or in the hypothetical, to withhold it to benefit an adversary, to target their political opponent is wrong and corrupt, period. End of story. And if you allow a president to rationalize that conduct, rationalize jeopardizing the nation's security, to benefit himself because he believes that his opponent should be investigated by a foreign power, that is impeachable. Now, if you have a legitimate reason to think that any U.S. person has committed an offense, there are legitimate ways to have an investigation conducted. There are legitimate ways to have the Justice Department conduct an investigation. I would suggest to you that for a president to turn to his Justice Department and say, I want you to investigate my political rival, taints whatever investigation they do. Presidents should not be in the business of asking even their own Justice Department to investigate their rivals. The Justice Department ought to have some independence from the political desires of the president. And one of the deeply troubling circumstances of the current presidency is you do have a president of the United States speaking quite openly, urging his Justice Department to investigate his perceived enemies. That should not take place either. But under no circumstances do you go outside of your own legitimate law enforcement process to ask a foreign power to investigate your rival, whether you think there's cause or you don't think there's cause. And you certainly don't invite that foreign power to try to influence an election to your benefit. It's remarkable to me that we even have to have this conversation. I mean, our own FBI director has made it abundantly clear, and it shouldn't require an FBI director to say this, that if we were approached with an offer of foreign help, we should turn it down. We should, of course, certainly not solicit a foreign country to intervene in our election. And whether we think there's grounds or we don't, the idea that we would hold our own country's security hostage by withholding aid to a nation at war to either damage our ally or help our adversary because they will conduct an investigation into our opponent, I can't imagine any circumstance where that's justified. And I can't imagine any circumstance where we would want to say the President of the United States can target his rival, can illicit foreign help in an election, can help him cheat, and that's okay. Because that will dramatically lower the bar for what we have a right to expect in the President of the United States, and that is they're acting in our interests. So I would say it's wrong for President of the United States to be asking for political prosecutions by his own Justice Department. I would say it's wrong for President of the United States to ask a foreign power to engage in an investigation of his political rival, but particularly where, as we have shown here, there is no merit to that investigation is even more egregious. And you know there's no merit to it because he didn't even want the investigation. And the more accurate parallel, Senator, would be if Barack Obama said, I don't even need you, Russia, to do the investigation. I just want you to announce it. Because that betrays the fact there was no legitimate basis, because the president didn't even need the investigation done. He just wanted it announced. And there is no legitimate explanation for that except he wanted their help in cheating in the next election.